Yeah, it works. Welcome. So welcome to our session. Our session title is Interactive Workshop with Girls Action Foundation. And I'm today's moderator, Eun-Kyung Hwang, a second-year doctoral candidate in art education and women's gender and sexuality studies at Penn State University. For those who are listening today, I will gonna describe myself. I have ivory colored skin, black eyes, and dark brown colored hair with ponytail. I'm wearing a dark pink shirt, and I am sitting in my room with an orange colored curtain to my right and a bookshelf to my left. So before starting, I would like to let all know that today's session is going to be recorded to be available for viewing post-conference. The recording would be shared on our conference website for a month. If you would like to ask any question, please raise your hand, or you can also put your question to the chat box. So then now, let's please welcome our presenters. Could you all introduce yourself? Maybe we can start with Tanika.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. So I'm Tanika Sampson, pronouns she and elle, and I am the operations manager at Girls Action Foundation. I've been there for a year now and very, very excited to be here. So I will pass it on to Noelle, so she can explain.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. So my name is Nawala Husi, and I'm the communication manager at Girls Action Foundation. It has been 2 years that I'm part of the organization. So I will pass it to Alison.
Hi, everyone. We're so happy to be here. My name is Alison Abrego, and I'm a manager. No, program mobilization manager. And yeah, there is 1 year that I'm here. My pronoun is she, her.
Thank you for all of your introduction. Then I'll pass the ball to these amazing presenters.
Thank you so much. So I will share my screen with all of you to present you a little presentation for today before we jump in more in a brainstorming session. So I will just share my screen. Let me know if it works and you see well. Okay. So yes, today we welcome you to this workshop with the title Support is Essential, Creating Communities of Care for Black, Indigenous, Racialized Girls and Gender Diverse Youth. We are the Girls Action Foundation. So I will do just a little introduction so you understand who we are, where we come from, and what type of organization it is. So Girls Action Foundation was founded in 2004. It's a nonprofit organization in Canada that believes in the power of girls, young women, and gender diverse youth as agents of social change. Through our network of organizations across Canada, we count over 300 organizations. We lead, develop, and implement transformative programs that are adapted and relevant to the changing reality of girls, young women, and gender diverse youth's life. Our mission at Girls Action Foundation is to inspire and support the empowerment, leadership, and healthy development of girls, young women, and gender diverse youth by increasing their access to research and opportunities. And we have as a vision that we want a national movement of empowered girls, again, young women and gender diverse youth, taking action to lead social in their community and to create a world where youth are strong, confident, and engaged leaders. So we are doing a lot of activities, workshops, programs by and for youth. With the pandemic, I think for the past 2 years, it has been a bit more difficult, but we adjust. And today we want to present you some project and program that we did in the past 2 years and how we adapt for our population. Also, I want just to let you know a little bit about our structure so you understand more who we are against. So we shift in the past 2 years, I will say, to a more horizontal and non-hierarchical structure. So we are all co-managers at Girls Action Foundation. We believe that everyone should be listened, should have a voice, that the youth should be at the center of our action, at the center of the organization. We are also a BIPOC team, as you can see, and it's really important for us to represent the youth that we are working with. So if it's okay, I will pass it to Alison.
Yes. We are so happy another time to be here. Thank you everyone that are here at this moment. So so it's a moment that we're gonna share with you 2 projects that very represent the name of our workshop. So I'm gonna share with you 2 projects. The first one is Super is Essential, and the other one is Youth Consultation. I'm gonna start with the Super is Essential. So we threw back in the time. We are in the 2020 when the COVID just started. And there is the chaos. It was the chaos. So we see that the needs it was that we want to give super. It was very related to mental health, but it's important to us to say that even before the pandemic, we know that for BIPOC, QT BIPOC, it's more difficult in the sense that yes, the long wait, but also it's difficult to have access to find someone that you can relate, that you can feel comfortable, that you can heal, and also for some the finance situation of finance. And yes, and with the situation of the pandemic, this is just like I think the word is increased, like it was very a big need. So that's why, and I want to say this project was me. I start putting in action the project, but it's very Brittany, Nawal, and Jennifer that very create this project. And so the goal, it was very to give access, to give support, and also to create like network between folks, BIPOC, QT BIPOCs. And this was the big goal. And inside there are 4 activities I'm gonna share with you. And okay, so the first activity that I'm gonna start explain to you, it was creative support circle. So we were supposed to create give 6, but when you create safe place and very folks feel comfortable to express, to engage, sometimes it can ask more time, and it's what happens. So we very fast adjust. So we give 8 creative support circle with Cosmic Tea. It's a worker community that very handle safe place. And this one, it was another time just for BIPOC, QT BIPOC. It was an open group, so folks was participate until the beginning. Some left, some have a pause, and some just came at the end. So the goal, it was very to have a safe place to share and create a network about situation that they was experienced relate to racism, homophobia, a lot of situation relate to misogyny. And also it was the goal, it was to create together a media design, and I can share with you very fast. Well, after I'm gonna share with, I have it there. Yeah, so they have to create this media sign, and I put it here on the, so they create this sign, and also we received 3 guests inspiring relate to their interests. So we have someone art therapist, but more relate to theater. Another one was a collective, Lotus Collective, relate more from music. And another one, it was a request for the group, from the group. So it was indigenous folks that gonna talk about her reality in the front line. And yeah, so this was the resume for this. And the one that do the design, it was a graphist that make it. Then the other activity, we offer counseling group with our therapist BIPOC. So this was another need, very, very, very important. In Montreal here, it's very bilingual, and for the moment, the 2 language dominant is English and French. So we decide to create 2 groups, one English, one French. And I think it was 12 in total, the participant. And yeah, the person was an art therapist that was facilitated, and the need was very there. All the youth asked to have more, but it was not possible. And then I'm gonna go back. The other activity, it was that we offer. So this one, it's hard for me, this word, so Tinika Nawal feel comfortable to jump. Subsidies, so it's like grant, like a little bit grant, like we cover 80% of individual mental health service. So if someone already have a follow with a professional of mental health, we're gonna cover 80%. Or if the folks don't have but need, we very adapt and we try to help them and find, but it was difficult because at this time everybody was busy, but we did it. And we were supposed to give 7, but when we see the need, we very fast adjust and we manage the budget and we give to 13 person, but this is another need, and all the social worker and whatever that we contact, it was like, yeah, there is a need. They're like, yeah. So this project, honestly, we would like to have another time. And the other activity is that we gave radical self-love basket. So it's like a bag with a lot of article from BIPOC, YouTube BIPOC own. Yeah, thank you. And it's exactly this. We did a server on Instagram, or poll on Instagram, and it's very the youth that say that they want snack, they want like a self-care project book, and we did it. We were supposed to give 50, but the need was important, so we adjust and we give 84 basket. And yeah, so this is for the super essential. I'm gonna try to very fast talk about the youth consultation. So we say we are organization by and for the youth. So for us, it's important to always make sure that our activity program is very what the youth wants, and that it's still representative. So with everything that was changing inside of our organization, the world, we decided to do a youth consultation. And the goal, it was to hear them, all the voices, different situation, and then create a new program activity. So we start in the fall 2021, and we just finished last week another one. So the goal was to reach 50 youth, and we pay also facilitator. So it's the youth from the community that make the focus group. So you can see there is a picture. This one, it was me, but how we make it, the youth consultation, it was 2 hours. And the beginning, it was to explain the processes of the youth consultation and the goal. And then it's become a work coffee. So it was like little focus group. And then there is the facilitator and also a taking note that take everything in note. And like this for us, we're gonna analyze the data. And right now we are on this and we're gonna keep in contact with the youth and every time. We pay the youth. For us, it's important to recognize the time of the youth. So we pay $16 for each hour, and it was 2 hours, so 32. And we give radical self-love basket and also the diner. And yeah, all the youth can wait to see the what we're gonna do, like activity and everything. So I'm gonna pass to the other my other thing that I'm gonna talk with you today about the tools. So everything that we do is very for the youth. So how we are oriented and inspired, we are always asking ourselves how to reach the youth, how we are reaching the youth. So this is all the tools that we use because we know it's like this, that the youth for them is important. And with the pandemic, so we make a survey, Instagram or a Google form. We make a Zoom because with the pandemic, it was this. But actually, the last one, we find another alternative way. So we do with the Kumo Space. It's like a little bit like Sims, but you can have like different room. And honestly, the youth was very happy. Even the facilitator and me and everyone, it was just, we have a nice time. So we always try like, okay, we do, but like how we can adjust and create. Social media and the youth consultation that we do, they all say it, social media. So we all try to stay on Instagram and TikTok. Also, we increase visibility by meeting the youth in the school. So Tanika gonna talk more after. Yes, we go in person like this. We met them, we hear them, and they see us and their spot, you know. And also always for us, utilizing art is very universal, is very more accessible. So we very prioritize art, connecting with leaders from their community, and trying to do partnership with the local Black, Indigenous, racialized, and LGBTQ on business. Always for sure we can have donation from other business, but us, our money and what we invest is very this. And yes, always partnership with local organization. So I'm gonna pass to Tanika.
Thank you, Allison. I just want to say for full disclosure, my dog is throwing a temper tantrum right now, so I'm really sorry if you hear him whining. But hello all again. So as Allison and Noelle has kind of already touched upon, I'll be speaking more regarding the methods that Girls Action Foundation used to develop techniques, new systems and solutions to prioritize sustainable community support for girls, young women, gender diverse youth, especially during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. I will also kind of tie in the organizational structure change to a non-hierarchical, decolonial, and intersectional model that we had adopted, and then how it also kind of filtered into our programming as we offer for our youth in the communities in Montreal. So I'm going to just start off talking about traditionally, when one thinks about sustainability and longevity for an organization, one thinks about core grant funding, networks, connections, operations, things that are typically associated with monetary value that can physically keep the organization functioning. Although the fiscal needs of a grassroots organization are imperative to maintain the day-to-day functions of the organization, it should not be the main tenet of the organization. Other factors are essential and should be considered, especially when working with vulnerable and marginalized youth. So for Girls Action, our full scope of sustainability is centered on the youth. So when organizing a program, we reach out to the youth first, as Allison kind of discussed briefly, just in order to glean from them their opinions on any upcoming activity, social issues that we want to tackle, things that matter to them in their day-to-day life. So along with the programming that my colleague had mentioned, Girls Action Foundation has consciously made the decision to convert the organization to a non-hierarchical model. In addition, our program shifted from a top-down approach to a bottom-up approach, and we needed to think differently about our approach to sustainability. And Allison kind of briefly talked about that and how we adapted during COVID-19 and utilizing different tools. So like Zoom was one of our main ways of communicating with the youth through workshops and facilitation, and then changing to something like Kumo Space where it's a little bit more fun, is more interactive and not so rigid. So as we moved away from a typical leadership empowerment approaches, that kind of looked at the youth as unknowing rather than experts of their own lives. This is illustrated through shifting away that power dynamic. And we felt that it really removed creativity, critical thinking from our youth, and it didn't really perceive the youth as equals. And we wanted to adapt and we wanted to change that. And so currently in our model, we're looking at the youth as equals and consultants. And that's kind of how we started to see about providing like a fiscal change and like paying the youth, as Allison said, for their time. So as we've shifted from that top-down approach to a bottom-up approach, we found that it had been very impactful through a lot of the feedback that was gathered during the youth consultation that Allison was talking about, as well as the one-to-one interactions and online social media surveys that Noelle puts out to through all of our platforms for the youth. So in that, the youth indicated that Girls Action Foundation is truly for the youth, and they really and how they feel that we really deeply care about their voice being heard. And I think that was one of the things that we felt was needed now for the present, but also for going forward to the future. So along with some other sustainable practices that we used to kind of immerse with the youth and with the youth in the community, we wanted to open up space where the youth can truly express themselves and advocate on social issues that impact their day-to-day life, as I mentioned earlier. So that is the key to adapting our organizations and our programs for the present and the future. And so in that, in changing our programs, we want to make sure that we encourage open and transparent dialogues that truly reflect and encourage agency and self-determination. And so, as you can see on the slides, you're going to see that there's 4 different avenues that we kind of took. So take a look on the slide in front of you. You can see some of the techniques and approaches that we had employed and continue to utilize, as we believe these can build true trust and strong rapport in the communities that we serve. It is fundamental for us as a team to continue to work in the community, but as well as consulting the youth directly through different avenues. So I also want to just put it out there for Allison and Noelle, if you guys want to jump in and add anything else, but I will start off with the number 1 important thing, which is meeting the youth in their environment, in their communities, in their neighborhood, in order to create a safe space that they feel that they can return to. So to us, changing the way that we create environments that meet the needs of the youth in the community, mainly our young girls, our young women, and gender diverse youth. This is a healthy way to help them feel safe and protected. Oftentimes, they cannot travel for a variety of reasons. So we really want to meet them exactly where they are at. We can provide online workshops. We can travel to their local community centers, and we maintain with communications with those community centers, with the schools, and social media platforms that they can access. We also try to implement programs like setting up kiosks at the park. There was one way that we wanted to be accessible and reach to youth by creating these kiosks. But what we found is that the COVID-19 had a big impact on that, and it did end up being a barrier to reach the youth. One of the things that we did to kind of figure out what to do, how to change that, is that we really just connected in with local community organizations, asked them if they're dealing with the same issues, brainstorms together, and then most importantly, talk to the youth, find out what it is that they need, what is it that is important to them at that moment in time. We also, as Allison had mentioned too, is that we recognize the youth as the experts of their lives. And so what that really truly means is that when the youth participate in a youth consultation or a workshop, we provide financial compensation for them. And at times, sometimes it's their first actual paycheck, I guess you would say. You'll see the youth are very excited, and that also encourages them to come back and join us, and they feel comfortable and they say, wow, my time is valued, my voice is being heard, and these are important people in my life and I really do want to enjoy. And we find that that's something that is a positive incentive because one, they are an expert for their life, but two, as well, that we're not just exploiting their time. They're not just going to come here and we're just going to provide just any program. We really, really want them to be engaged and we really want them to feel connected. And so in doing all of those three approaches, we started to kind of try and to adapt into like a youth council for the organization, which is kind of our future for the organization. And so if I could talk quickly, because I know we're at quench for time, but for the youth council, what it really is that it is a council that gives agency to the youth to speak about injustices and advocate for themselves. The council will act as a conduit through which the youth's voices will be amplified. So their needs will be placed directly in the conversation as well as the decision-making at Girls Action Foundation. This will ensure that us as an organization, we're held accountable, especially when we're setting programs and priorities that meet the needs of the community. And we want to make sure that it's an open, transparent dialogue. So throughout all of these things that we've been doing it throughout COVID-19, we come to this realization that when organizations say we're for the youth or centered by the youth, we really want to make sure that we're putting in actions and we're not just talking the talk. So these are the premises that Girls Action believe, and we hope that we'll push the needle forward to sustainability as we move past the challenges of COVID-19. But these are the things that we've done right now and in our present. And so we're excited to find out what it means for our future. So I don't know if Noelle and Allison want to add anything, but if not, then I'm going to pass it on to Noelle.
Thank you, Tanika. The next part of the workshop will be like a brainstorm together, but before starting it, I want to know if you have any questions, comments on what we just all said. Yes, you can go.
Just thank you so much for your presentation and talking about the work that you're doing. It's really incredible to hear you talk about how your approaches kind of shifted and your different priorities. And it's really amazing to hear about how you compensate these young participants and view them as, important experts with their knowledge. And I just really admire it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Does anyone want to ask a question or make a comment now? If not, okay. So I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen because the next part of the workshop will be a little bit more interactive. So we want to hear you and know a bit more about the sustainable solution that you would like to see or something like that. So what I propose you is that I will share my screen again, but for another thing, we will go on a platform that is called Jamboard together. But before I will show you how it works for the people who don't know. Screen. Can you see the Jamboard? Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
we can see.
Perfect, thank you. So we want to know what did you learn today that you will use or that you liked, sustainable solutions, tools, anything that you liked or that you will use. So we think that it will be fun if everyone can write because it's not everyone that's this comfortable to speak in public. So I will just show you how it works. And after that, I will share the link in the chat for everyone. So the way it works is that there is little sticky note right here on the left of the Jamboard. You have to click there. You can put, for example, financial compensation for youth and add it there. And after that, you can put it there. And I encourage everybody to do it. And after that, we have other slides, but I would like to start with this one and we can have discussion on this after that. So I'm gonna share right now in the chat. And I will stop sharing my screen. So I will let you like maybe 5 minutes. If you finish before, you can just let us know by comments in the chat. We will be there and we will go after together. So.
I guess everyone put the note on the Jamboard.
So thank you, everyone. It's really nice to see what was the main point of the workshop that you liked, that you will use. I see that there is a lot about the centering the youth in the programs and in the organization. And like we all said, it's really important. And I'm sure that when we were all younger, we would like to have organization like that will take us in consideration. Yeah, that was really important for us. Yes, we also think that is some process or things that we can imagine in other environment, like school, like classes. Like I see that there is an instructor in the room that said that it will be nice to have some kind of this idea in his class or classroom. So that's really something that you can try, not the same way for sure, but just to let the youth express themselves, to let them more space, to have a more open space about what they think, and to take it seriously, because often youth are not taken seriously even when we hear to them. So it's really important to, after hearing them, to put solution in place, to put project in place, so they feel that it's not just listening to them and after it's all. As a goodies bag was really appreciated, and we continue to do it because it's just a goodies, like you said. It's really something that the youth like. And for the last consultation, we decided to go with more books because it was one of the demand of the youth. So on the picture that you saw before, it was just one book, but now we have choose a lot of books from a bookstore here in Montreal, with a BIPOC bookstore funded by a Black woman here in Montreal. So it was really important to us to encourage those type of goodies too. Is there any question or comment about this one? Or Alison or Tanika, do you want to add something?
No, I think you said it all, and it's really appreciated to see that people are reflecting on it.
Awesome. So I will pass the mic to Alison for the second slide. You will see at the top of the Jamboard, there is like a 1 on 3. So you can put on the next slide and you will see the second slide. Sorry for my English.
Right. Yeah, it's this one. So thank you so much for this energy. Now we are interested to see what do you want to share with us. So the question for this one is that we want to know, sorry, I just had to take off the Zoom. Okay. Can you imagine any other tools or transformative project for community organization? So we want to hear you about this, whatever what, like that you experience, or like this you have an idea, like feel comfortable, and yes, to write what you have.
I would add something. You can talk about not only community organization, but maybe like community space, classroom, like we said just before, any place that you think you can have those tools and transformative projects.
Oh, it's don't work.
I put another link for the second Jamboard. If you cannot find one, you can use that link on the chat box.
Thank you. Does everybody write? Yeah, write it. We can warp up. Okay, cool. So this is so exciting. Yeah. Thank you so much for your creativity. You know, we just ask you like this and you just, so props to you. And yes, okay, I see stuff in common that you all say. So I see that there is something about the storytelling that you speak out, share. And yes, that it's a good approach to express life experience and to a way more art. So I see there is a lot of suggestion idea with art, and yeah, it's art is very universal, accessible, and healing. So we very agree with this. Also, this is a good idea for the using Zoom or metaverse to construct on transnational feminist youth community event and workshop. So I think it's like something like with our country or one country, but I feel that it's something big. And yes, that's very cool to always try to find how to connect and don't be a divide, like how to building community. So this is very nice. And that's made me think that we create like last year's, 2 years ago, a feminist summer school, I think it was the name. So this made me think about this. Also, youth-led forum, very nice. Yes, this is, we need more of this. Yes. Also, I see that outdoor land-based activity, even in urban space. This is in our youth consultation for the moment. What we saw, the request of the youth. Yes, they ask, they want stuff outdoor, activity outdoors. So yeah, like, you know, we was very like confined. So I can understand why this is a need. Performance, storytelling, for to do fundraising effort. This is very a good idea. Yes. And what else that I can see that is I didn't highlight. This is a question: how to move outside of Montreal-based work, but still stay true to the community-led grassroots spirit of this work. I'm not sure. I don't know, Nawal, if Tinika, if you understand the question. Miss, I think is my English.
Which question, Alison?
The one that say how to move outside of Montreal-based work, but still stay true to the community-led.
Yeah. So I think what this person is talking about is perhaps having it more throughout Canada, and not only in Montreal, but still keeping the same values that is youth-led and community-led, and like not getting through like the same type of like hierarchical structures that we used to have.
Yeah. Nice. Very agree. Very agree. But how to move outside, I think, yes, is to very us, for example, us that in Montreal, to always us, the team, very maintain our values solely. And with each time that we go to a place, for sure, we're gonna learn like what is happening in this place, but us, we present ourselves, so we keep our value 100. And yes, I think, and we totally agree with the comment that to have more opportunity, like to give to the youth about art, because all the art domain, like professional, we know how it was difficult for them, and art is healing. And yes, for us, it's important to give also opportunity. Every time that we create project activity, we always try to give opportunity, and like with the experience or the interest of the youth. So for the youth consultation, the facilitator, yes, we for sure we give, we do like a form, but for us it's important to see all, you know. So we was not like, if you don't have experience of facilitating group, you can't. No. we see all the pictures, so we very agree with this. So yes, I don't know if someone else wants to add something, or maybe, or if not, we can. Nawal.
Yes, sorry, I just want to try to answer to the question of to move outside of Montreal-based work and keep like the grassroots aspect of what we do. I think the important stuff in this is to always partners with a community-based organization when we go outside of our comfort zone and to have leaders in those places or those communities. So to not be frontline. For example, me, I'm a Montrealer. I don't know what happened in Toronto for real, in the real life or on day-to-day basis. So I'm not the one that will talk for those youth, but we have to join the organization, the community groups, the youth that are leading already in those areas. So we can be sure to stay grassroots and to stay true to our values. I think, yeah, it's really important.
I think it's finished. We can pass to the other.
Yeah, the last Jamboard is just to have a wrap up, questions, comments together, discussion if you want, to talk about where you work, where you study, maybe what you would like to see in place. So I just want to have you taking the mic if you want to, no stress, no worries. So you can write also if you're not comfortable to talk in public, you can write in the chat, on the Jamboard, whatever you are most comfortable with.
It can be also say like why you are there today, what you was like interest, what, yeah, it can be whatever what that you want to share. We are here to hear you, meet you.
Well, for me, I'm an international student from South Korea, and also I felt language is always the challenging things for me, and it is kind of a barrier for me. So by witnessing all the things that you've done this, and I felt like it'll be really helpful to even the immigrant students who are not feel comfortable with their second language, and that's why I think about the transnational community project, that because with art we can easily communicate without any barrier of the language or any cultural differences. So yeah, it was really great to see you all, and I am really interested in how you empower the youth, the feminist youth, and how you connect between communities and their sorry, I'm messing my words, but yeah, how did you connect these communities with art and grassroots movement? Thank you.
Thanks for your sharing.
There is an interesting question also on the Jamboard, so I'll read it. It says, what were the conditions or contexts that allow Girls Action Foundation to successfully create a good structure, like a non-hierarchical structure, and what were some challenges? So I will start by saying that it's a long process, and it's a process that implies a lot of people. It's a process that has to be transparent on every part other way you will have tension in this process. It's also the condition, I will say, will be to have a team that want to go in that direction, because it's not everybody that want this type of structure and want this type of work. It also means that in the challenge, I will say, it also means that we share more of our work. So we have to be really in a mood of teamwork and be able to adjust, to be everywhere at the same time, to be really, to adjust and to be really more à l'écoute, hearing the other of your team. I would say it's important to have a nice board of director and have a listening from this board of director, because it's the reality, like it's the structure of a nonprofit organization. So we have the chance to change the board of director in the past 2 years and to have a really diverse and young board of director that we think about earth or values. And it appears when we had this discussion, for example, about the structure of the organization. It needs a lot of confidence in your coworkers too. I think it's really important to have a great confidence and to have a great relation with your coworkers. And yeah, the challenge, there is always challenge in every structure. So I would say it's a little bit like any kind of work, but you have to be really hearing the other. It's like the structure that we put in the team is the same structure that we put with the youth a little bit. Maybe Alice and Tanika, you can say, what do you think about that process? How do you feel when we started?
Allison, you can go. I was going to pass it to Allison, because Allison does a lot more with the programming and working with the youth hands-on. So I think she would be better equipped to answer the whole of it, and then I can add what else I thought.
Perfect, with no stress. Yeah, so Nawal was very there when this change of structure happened. So me, what I can share it until 1 year that I'm here, and that we are more like in the terrain. So it's more in the roots. I don't know. Yeah, like we are here with the youth, creating partnership like with the organization on the ground. Yeah, with partner from like exactly what Nawal said, that where we go, we have to like okay, so here is the situation. What is the situation of the youth, the service, the systemic, And yeah, so me, what I can say, it's about with the youth and at the time that I'm here. So yes, with the youth, we adapt and trying to understand, and me, all my life, I grew up at Montreal, and yeah, I grew up here. So I know the reality, but we all know that everything changed. Like when I was teenager at 12, it's not the same thing. And now, so we always adapt. So it was very like to first very know how to communicate with them. And then when we talk with them, we very consider them like it's a human, like the youth can have 12 years, but have more like trauma, experience on something than me. So it's very to treat them like equal, very also make sure that there is, if there is a need of accessibility in the communication, in the learning, and the social aspect that now we can see with the pandemic, there is something with the social anxiety, I think we call. And yeah, so it's very and always when we talk, like it's very like equal, and that the the mic of the voice is circulate. So for us, it's very important to make sure that everybody express their self, and their voice very matter and very have a value. And we try to everything of that, and no judgment. And this is a value for the youth. Always the youth, one we saw in the youth consultation, for us and for them, it's very important the no judgment. So for us, it's also important to keep it and with them. And yeah, it's what I'm gonna say. And each step that we do, we try to consult them, we try to adapt them, you know. And for example, even forgive the radical self-love basket. Okay, try to how we can adapt to their need there. So there is very like the time in the night and the weekend. So we are trying to do this, even if it's difficult for us, but like, no, it's their need to them. And yes, implicate them in all the processes. So when we're gonna finish very soon the analyze data, we want to share with them the step where we are, and then when we're gonna decide to publish and planify how we're gonna publish. Yes, it will be cool that one of the youth gonna with us, they're gonna, you know, share, because it's their voice, is their time, is their needs. So yeah, so I think it's this. And Tamika, if you want to add something.
I definitely agree with both Noelle and Allison. I think they touched upon everything, but I think for myself, why I do think that it's important that the information or the values that we have as an organization is not only for us, it really is part of a collective. So I think it's important, and I think it's important because I think far too many times, I think that what Noelle has said previously, youth have been silenced. They're not taken considered in anything. They're not mature enough. And I think Allison touched on it as well, that we don't know what's going on in their life, and they may have experiences. They might be living it every day when they go to school, way more than I would be able to. And I think that we have to move away from this idea that, you know, if you have the most qualified education or you have all these degrees, you know better than another person. And I don't think that that's the reality of life. And I think even within our hiring process, we look at lived experience as well. And so if we can do that for ourselves, we have to look at the youth as they are the experts. They have lived experience. They know what's going on. And so I think that's just exactly what it needs to be. Like, you have to know that it can't just be for ourselves. It has to be for everyone. And I think not just for the youth, because I know we work with youth, but it should be for any grassroots organization or any community group that works with any population. Like, they should be the center. We shouldn't think that we know more. So yes.
Thank you for sharing your all golden rules, like openness, transparency, and genuine caring of each other's lived experiences. So I guess we should wrap up our session because of our time. Do you have one more things that you want to share, or can we wrap it up? Yeah, so thank you to all of our presenters today, and thank you all for attending this workshop. And I hope everyone enjoyed the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for your time.
Everybody in the room.
Great job, folks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for the support. Yes.
Have a great rest of your day.
Have a great one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.